obsessed with me. No one really said that, but I'm back. I'm back making some art, and we're gonna transform some goodies today. Y'all obsessed with me. Let's go to the desk. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm playing. So we're gonna fucking mother. So this is what's going down. This is a print that I got made about a year and a half ago. I don't like it. If y'all have seen the actual painting of this, it looks nothing like this. For some reason, during the printing process with the company, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the file, maybe it was the printer. I don't know, something's off. These were so expensive to make, and I never sold them because I just didn't like how they turned out. So, in this video, we're gonna transform this print and make it into something new. Its own art piece. We're gonna make it juicy again, hopefully. I kind of have faith, but let's jump into it. This is what I'm using. These are the Molotow acrylic paint markers. These are amazing. These were sent to me by a great new art friend. They're so juicy. I've never really had good art pens before. I do have a pack of Posca, and I'm probably going to use those too. I'm also going to be using my recent pride and joy, these Caran d'Ache Neo Pastel 1. These are so juicy. I love these things. I have been falling more and more in love with these. If you've never used these fancy crayons before, you better go to the art store. So let me go find my Posca markers and let's jump in. Let's transform this print. Let me give you some close-up shots. So you might not be able to tell, but this is not cute. It is not cute. It's way too orange, and you probably can't tell that well though. Ooh, that was satisfying. Can you hear that? Ooh, put that tape down. Oh, yeah. My bad. Okay, so I started with green. This was, I'm not gonna get into it. Anyways, this green was surprisingly bright. Brighter than I thought. As you could tell, oh, not me doing a reverse. Anyways, this is what it looked like. Started with some blue, or then went in with some blue. Just kind of went crazy with it. So technically, this was my second drawing using these acrylic markers. If you want to see the first one, you're going to have to go to my Patreon. I have like a little special Patreon video for y'all over there. But after making that first drawing / painting, over on my Patreon, by the way, after making that first one, I could tell I was a little overly confident going into this one. So this is technically my second one, using especially Poscas and these Molotow paint markers. And girl, let me tell you, I was overly confident. What I was trying to do is I was trying to keep the same essence as the OG, but I was going in with too many of these bright colors. So I tried to tone it down, and I couldn't really tone it down because it was just watching this footage back just makes me cringe. I'm like, just stop. Just stop. Go in with some darker colors. And that's exactly what I try to do. I try to add in the shadows again. But surprisingly enough, even that brown that I just put down, it's not that dark. Some of these colors are not as dark as I thought they were going to be. With acrylic, I usually think like, oh, it's going to dry darker. But for some reason with these, they dried lighter because they were more chalky. I don't know. But let me tell you, I tried my best to try and save this. I was hating it at this point. I even went in with some Caran d'Ache, which was my plan originally because I did that in the other drawing on my Patreon, by the way. Hey. I hate it. I hate this so much. I'm kind of sad that it turned out like this. Oh, I hate it. So I just want to rip it up.
Better? Yes. All right.
Sorry about that. I have to rip it up sometimes. Anyways, I went in with the plan for this one. So the beautiful reference you just saw was a friend of mine. Her name is Pame. She is stunning. She's an amazing singer. Y'all need to go check her out. I'll put her in the description. And because I'm a little strange, sometimes when I'm like on my phone and I see like a unique face, even when I'm watching TV, I'll have to pause something and I'll screenshot it or I'll take a picture because, I don't know, I get inspiration everywhere. I'm just, I love to get inspiration. Anyways, so I've had this screenshot of my phone for a hot minute and then I realized like they had similar hair. This print and then her hair was so similar. So I had to transform it into Pame. But as you can see, we're in the difficult phase at the moment because I'm trying to find where everything makes sense. You know what I mean? I essentially, there is no trace of the original print on this paper anymore. It's all paint, essentially. Well, aside from the top of the head, actually the top of the hair, I would say is probably pretty much the same. Kind of the eyes, but not really. But I was pretty much blocking everything out, trying to get my shapes, and try to make it look like her as much as possible. Also, because these are G clay prints, these are like high quality archival, great paper, great pigment. The texture and drawn on these were a little strange. They were a little difficult. I don't know why. It was almost sandy on top. It almost felt like I was drawing on top of sandpaper. I'm assuming because, it's a high quality ink or pigment. I don't know. I don't really know how this works, but, it was just a little strange. It wasn't like just drawn on regular printer paper. It was more like drawn on like a low grit sandpaper. Does that make sense? But excuse my rambling. Let me go ahead and let y'all watch for a little bit. I'm back. So I wanted to say I also used my finger to kind of smear it around a little bit. So if you ever see me kind of like put a color down and kind of smear it around, I feel like that helped me kind of get a better value and cover up, areas that I just wanted to light glaze over. Because this stuff is opaque, don't get me wrong, but the Posca is not as opaque as the Mulatto. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty nice technique, especially if you're just using the paint markers to put, an opaque layer down, especially with these Molotov. And then you could put like a Posca beside it and then kind of smear your finger, and it'll give you a little bit more blending instead of having like a harsh line.
Guys, she's opening her eyes. She's opened her eyes. She's awake.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm not gonna lie. It was at this point where I knew I was kind of eating. I was kind of eating at this point. I was like, okay, I like it. Is turning into something. The colors were a little too, saturated. That's why you can see I'm going in with this kind of like this grayish blue, and I'm kind of toning it down and making it a little less red with this blue. Even though I'm quite literally going over that blue with red, but you get what I'm saying. But at the same time, I did feel like I was losing a little bit of that contour. I was losing a little bit of the tone because it was just way too bright. Some of these colors dry brighter than I thought. Like for instance, that blue, I didn't think it was like gonna be like a baby blue. I thought it was gonna be more a little darker. You know what I mean? So these markers don't really make too much sense to me. I kind of went crazy with the blue because I felt like it was a little too red everywhere. Also, I don't know what the neck and the shoulders were doing, so I had to fix the hair and the neck and the shoulders, or one shoulder. I don't know. It wasn't structurally making sense to me. So I was like, let's fix it up a little bit. But once again, this is still like the blocking out stages. I wanted to block things out, let it dry, so I could really put in detail later on. As you can see, just kind of going over everything, just finding the tones that I like. Definitely, the forehead was way too small and the bangs weren't making sense, so I had to, lift up the forehead just a little bit. Also, add a little bit of green highlight to the shoulder shirt. From far away, it makes sense. Oh, and the hair was probably my favorite part. Just adding that little, that highlight to the top. I feel like it really tied it in. Ooh, I was planning on going like a pinkish purple, and that's what I ended up doing. Kind of matching that with the eyes. As you can see, everything kind of looks way too bright still. So, give me some time. I'm gonna go in with the darker color and kind of go over everything again. And if you've been watching me for a hot minute, you know I love the 80s. So this whole drawing was given 80s And you know what? Now that I look at it, you know those like old Paul Mitchell books where they have the drawings of the girls with the, the flowy hair. This is kind of what it reminds me of. I'm not gonna lie. This I can see this black and white in a Paul Mitchell book. You know what I mean? So the neck was kind of bugging me, so I tightened it up a bit, and then I reapplied some flowy strands of hair, colored up some areas a bit. It was looking just a little bit choppy, but that was kind of the vibe because these pens you can't really have something way too smooth and blended. So I was digging it. Oh, and at this moment I was feeling the hair. I had to add just a little bit more, light touches on top because it was kind of bugging me, and also just a little bit more blue. Oh, and this white acrylic pen, one of the best I've ever used. Granted, I've never used a lot. But then the Caran d'Ache comes in clutch because these were perfect to glaze with. I mean, not technically glazing, but like, oh, they were perfect. Some of these areas were way too bright. So I toned them down with more of a translucent Caran d'Ache Neo Pastel. They were perfect, especially this yellow. I ended up turning her completely yellow, but I kept a lot of the tones, especially the blues and the purples. Oh, and this might look satisfying, but let me tell you, it was ripping all the surface layer of that paper. This painter's tape, false. Like, it didn't damage the paper, but it definitely took up all the ink that was on that page. Anyways, I made a border with some Caran d'Ache, and I chose red because I'm like, why not? Why not tie it together, make like a red frame for this? And if I didn't like it, I mean, I could always put it in the frame, or if someone buys it, they could always put it in the frame and cover up the red. But I didn't mind it. I really liked the red, and I kind of made it a little messy, cause I'm a little messy. And this is me just adding a few finishing touches to this portrait, and here we go. It's done. We're done.
Look how gorgeous this is. It's so pretty.
Before and after. What do you think? Well, I like it. Anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this. Maybe possibly doing like a print transformation series, maybe. Well, technically, I already started a series over on my Patreon. I'll go ahead and leave it below if you want to go ahead and sign up. I post tricks, tips, sneak peeks, previews. Oh, and also, my shop is opening soon and Patreon gets first dibs. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you would like a print of this piece of artwork, or possibly the original, stay tuned. My shop is opening soon. Okay, well, I'm done. Bye. Stay creative. Hopefully I'll see you in the next 4 months.